Welcome to InvestingDoc, where physicians like you take charge of your careers and build the lives that you deserve. I'm Brad, and each week we'll explore strategies, stories, and solutions to help you master entrepreneurship, grow your wealth, and thrive in business and beyond. Hey everybody, welcome back to the podcast. My name is Brad. I own a multi-million-dollar private practice in Texas, and I love to help people scale or start medical practices. Today, let's talk about how you cannot save your way to $10 million. Let's talk about the revenue first mindset that many physicians need. And I'm going to dig real deep down into my thoughts about really focusing on hell-bent on increasing revenue. All right, first off, those of you guys that are doing DPC, concierge, want to stay small, want to stay nimble, love you guys. There's nothing wrong with that. So don't take anything that I'm saying today as negative about that pathway. Totally fine. That is a totally different person and a totally different business. Think of it like Coach and Louis Vuitton going after two totally different clients. And both of them can be absolutely amazing. So today, let's focus on those docs that really just want to hell-bent on like growing the revenue to make as much money as possible and still giving amazing care and providing amazing care to patients as much as possible. A lot of physicians obsess over cutting cost or trying to find like value codes online to get like a 10% off discount, maybe even trimming your staff hours. Talking about like squeezing vendors for pennies, maybe like 4 or 5%, but a lot of them do not focus on the lever of increasing revenue to build a multi-million-dollar practice. All right, so what the hell am I even talking about? The number one thing about financials is it's not that complicated. Money in, money out. And let's say your goal is to have generational wealth to the point where you have so much freaking money that you could set your kids up for whatever future they wanted. I don't know about you guys, but like my parents, my mom was a private school teacher. I think she made like $10,000 a year. It was barely nothing. And then my dad is a freaking welder. I mean, he's not making $100,000 plus a year. And I won't lie, it would have been amazing if they would have set it up for me to where I could have gone to a nice school. I could have had a lot of educational things. I never left my own state here of Texas until I was in college. We didn't have any money. We didn't have money to go on any vacation to experience the world beyond that. And I think sometimes all of us that are parents, myself included, I have a 4 and a 5-year-old. We just want the absolute best for the kids. And you know what? If I'm going to work as hard as possible, why not set them up as great as possible without being like a trust fund baby and spoiled? That's two totally different things. So, all right, cutting cost doesn't make you rich. That's the number one. A lot of these like physician on fire and all these other things, great. You can save your way to maybe $1 million, $2 million, $3 million. But cutting cost is never going to give you that passive income of truly owning a business that makes money when you are not there. Hell, when I went on my Disney vacation for an entire week, I made just as much money while I was gone as if I was there or not. I would estimate that probably 90% of my income at this point in time comes from actually owning and running the business operations standpoint of things. Maybe 10%, maybe on a bad month, 20% comes from me actually seeing patients. I don't know if it's been 20% honestly in a while, but you get the idea. You can only cut the expenses so far. I mean, some of the people that I consult with that really want to grow and hyper grow real big, it was a mistake for me. And I'm not saying that you're stupid for doing this, but I did it too. I went with a medical record, Practice Fusion, that I was like, oh man, this one's so much cheaper than the other ones. But you know what? Practice Fusion, that ended up costing me a lot of money and time because it couldn't scale. It didn't scale beyond me. The patient portal was horrible. It went down all the time. So I would say like once a week, the freaking EMR was down. That ended up costing me more money in the long run because I cheaped out on something. It's like going with the lowest bidder. You get what you pay for. So I'm not saying you need to go for the Rolls Royce of your medical record, but think about it when you're getting your medical record. Okay, if one is $200 a month more expensive, but if it gives you a hell of a lot more and you can expand and it's got the practice management that actually works and real-time eligibility and even maybe reputation management in it, it's worth it. It's worth its weight in gold. You can only cut expenses so far. All right, $200 a month you could save on that. Okay, yeah, that may save you, $2,500 a year. But what if you get 1 or 2 mid-level providers, another doctor on there, and then now all of a sudden you're making X amount of dollars per month with that employee that you've hired and took on the risk of everything. And think of the upside. You have basically an infinite upside. You can only lean your way so much, but at a certain point, you lean to the point where you're suffocating growth. It's like barbecuing. If you shut off all the air to that fire, it ain't going to get any heat on it. And you got to have some sort of airflow to it. You got to spend some money to make money. And I've seen it time and time again. You cut costs so much that you're doing real-time eligibility. You're doing your own billing. You're maybe sending out your own authorizations for HMO referrals. Stop that. Get a virtual assistant. Think like a business person. You need to think like someone who's setting up other employees to make you money. Let's do some math, all right? $100 million net worth requires offense, not defense. What I mean is that $1 million clinic with 20% margins, $200,000 profit, that's not too bad. But to get $10 million net worth, you need equity growth, not just frugality. I mean, think about that. If you bring in a 20%, is your margins. For every $1 million that you bring in, $200,000 profit. So just start doing the math backwards on how much do I have to bring in to make $10 million in 15 years. Saving $50,000 a year, if you're an employed physician, it's not going to get you there. But growing to 5 million, 10 million in revenue, yeah, it's going to take a lot of effort on the front end, but it really will pay off on the back end. How do I know that? Have you ever bought into a stock? There's something called a PE ratio, price to earnings ratio. And this is what, if you ever sell your business, this is what someone else is willing to pay for your business. Depending on how big your business is, it could be anywhere from 1 to maybe 10. So in this example that I gave you, let's say you have a 20% margin, truly a business that runs totally without you, $200,000 profit, it's not going to happen. But let's say you get a 10 PE multiple. You sell that $200,000 profit, you're selling it for $2 million, a 10x on that. Now think about it. Think if you doubled that, a $2 million clinic, 20% margin, now you got $400,000 at a 10 PE multiple. Okay, instead of $2 million, now you got $4 million for literally doubling it. You doubled it from 1 to 2 million, but you could sell out for twice as much. I know that that's not going to happen with only a $1 million valuation of coming in gross top line. But what I'm trying to say is that what really happens is that $1 million clinic with 20% margin might sell for actually a 2x multiple. So $400,000, actually probably sell more than that, 3. Let's say $600,000. But if you get to even well beyond that, let's say $10 million clinic with 20% margin, that's not going to sell for a 3x multiple. Now you're selling for a 10, maybe a 15x multiple. You're making way more money for every dollar you're bringing in just because you're scaling the hell out of it. Now that is how you're going to get generational wealth. But most doctors are afraid to grow the revenue. Their fear of the risk, their fear of hiring, maybe there's even fear of debt. What I mean by taking on good debt, even if you take out a lease, that's technically debt. You own and owe that liability. So if you ever look at a 10K or a stock that is publicly traded, they will list their liabilities. And in the liability column is how much money do they owe in the 10 years or 5 years or whatever's left on those lease terms, how much money is owed on that term. You'll see it there. It'll be $5, $10 million, whatever. It could be anything. That is a form of debt. The other fear that I see is the fear of marketing. A lot of docs will go out and shake hands and meet other doctors, but they are just terrified to spend money on Facebook ads, Instagram ads, Google ads. You've got to spend money to make money. And the other part is there's the fear of scaling beyond yourself. There was recently a post on my subreddit that I started, which is Private Practice Docs. There was recently a post about someone that was trying to start up a clinic. They wanted basically another business partner and they were having a hard time, but it sounds like they only interviewed 2 or 3 people. And for every doc that we hire, or even a PA or NP, we interview on average about 15 people for every one person that we end up hiring. Think about that. You got to churn through 15 people for every one person you hire. On the flip side of that, the numbers can be even worse. On a DPC side of things, you're probably going to have to pitch somewhere between 10 and 20 clients before one of them actually signs up, whether it be through your website, through YouTube videos, or actually your staff talking to them. Not all those people that call are going to be like, hello, I would love DPC of Oklahoma. Sure, sign up right here. No one has a 100% conversion rate. You need to fix this in. Don't get run down if you're like, look, I pitched 3 businesses and no one's signing up for my DPC or no one's signing up for this plan. You got to pitch a lot. You probably got to pitch 20 plus businesses before one pay off at this point in time. I think if you get stuck in the micromanaging of, well, I got to see more patients. Everything is relying on me. My front desk sucks, so I'm just going to do it myself. You're never going to build something beyond you. You've got to build a team. And yes, you need to be very scrappy in the very beginning, or else you're going to take on a ton of debt. You're going to work yourself to death, or you're not going to pay yourself for a while. But there's a difference between being scrappy and cheap. And I was very cheap at the very beginning. I paid for an EMR, Practice Fusion, god-awful EMR. I mean, it's amazing if you want to be DPC, small, one location, that is an EMR for you. But if you want to do what I'm doing, if you want to get to a $10 million net worth valuation, you're never going to do it Practice Fusion. It's not happening. Again, this is all my opinion. If you are from Practice Fusion, don't hate on me. So what revenue levers can you control today? All right, one is opening new locations. Whew, that's hella hard. Let's table that for a little bit. The easier one is going to be adding clinicians. Can you add extra clinicians, whether it be a physician, PA, NP, or hell, even go after hours like we did? The other thing you could do is you could add on high margin services. Maybe it's an executive wellness. Maybe it's aesthetics. Maybe it's adding on cash pay labs like Function Health and mimic something that they're doing. You could improve patient access. Same day equals higher volume. Add on those same day visits. You could also, I don't know if this is, ethical, but I'm going to throw it out there, is if United Healthcare is your lowest payer, don't prioritize those visits. Prioritize the Blue Cross visits or the other ones that pay you actually better. The other thing that you could do is look into your billing. There are so many docs that are scared of fraud appropriately, but they're so scared that they underbill. Never, ever, ever do fraud. But look, if you're managing 5 medical problems and you're billing a level 3 visit, you are leaving money on the table. The other thing is you got to market aggressively. Whatever you think you need to market, you probably got to 5X it. Moving fast creates money. Yes, you're going to spend money, but it creates money. Slow decisions kill momentum. I love Jeff Bezos, how he talks about okay, we need a one-way or two-way door. The one-way door is no going back. If we go through this door, there's absolutely no way to go back and undo what we've done. Those are very rare decisions. The two-way doors are well, hell, all right, let's hire another clinician or let's start after hours. Let's try it for 6 months. If it doesn't work out, it's a two-way door. You can always shut that down. If it does work out, amazing. You just made more money on the end of it. And guess what? Our after hours, it's not always 100% booked, but it's making me a lot of money. If your strategy is to become a multi-million-dollar by saving money, yeah, you're probably never going to get there, or you'll get there in 30 years. And there's nothing wrong with that if you want to be an employee. But I bet you found my podcast because you're tired of being employed. You want to take back ownership. Maybe you want to make a hell of a lot of money. Maybe, like me, you want to get paid what you're actually owed, and you want to provide amazing care for those people around you. I have nothing against my lawyer making great money. He's an amazing guy. Jim Kelso, shout out to you, man. Amazing, amazing lawyer. Love him. The website development people that I paid $10 grand to make my website, am I pissed off that they charged me a lot of money? No, they produced an amazing website for me. Is it perfect? No, I could always upgrade. There's always something you can improve upon, but I'm not mad at them. Am I mad at those people at Facebook or Google that are making my life and entertainment amazing so that I just click on it and everything loads? No, make good money. It provides a lot of laughter in my downtime. Good for you. There's no difference in my mind between a physician trying to make a good living for themselves if they take out the risk of starting their own practice. And again, got a lot of love for you guys that are DPC, concierge, want to stay small, want to stay lean. Amazing. Because you know what? You're not going to have the freaking headaches that I'm going through. You're not going to have the delayed gratification of, I haven't paid myself in 4 months because we spent $700,000 on capital expenditure expansion plans. You know what? That's the path I've chosen. I'm not complaining about it, but I'm just saying, again, back to the Coach and Louis Vuitton, beautiful companies. The Coach produces an amazing quality, amazing product for the price point, and Louis Vuitton's a totally different customer. That average person going into Louis Vuitton is probably not also going into Coach and comparing the two products. Both can be true and both can be great. But for those of you guys that just want to step on the freaking gas and create generational wealth, don't be scared. Don't be scared to scale. Actually, you know what? It is okay to be scared, but don't let that fear hold you back from freaking pushing on that gas pedal. Yes, it's going to be hard, but you know what? So was getting into med school. So was going to residency. So was daily treating difficult cases of telling patients they have cancer, dying, coming in and realizing that your patient that you've loved, that headache that they had is oh my God, it's actually a brain tumor. I thought it was just regular headaches. We've all had those cases that knock us on our butt. And you know what? The sad truth is we never know what any of us are going to get tomorrow. And you got to build a life that you want to live, whether that's be small and lean, or you want to be like me and you want to freaking just shove your foot on the gas. And it could go to zero, but you know what? It could also be great. And it could make me an insane amount of money. I really appreciate every single one of you guys that follow along. I'll leave a link below if you want me to consult with you. Thank you so much for all of you who are listening. I'll see you guys next week. See y'all on the next one.